Letting go doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're smart enough to choose your peace over drama, your clarity over chaos, and your worth over someone else's mistakes. Today, we're going to explore why walking away is actually how you win your life back. One of the most common misconceptions about letting go is that it's a sign of weakness. People often assume that walking away from someone who has hurt you, undervalued you, or created chaos in your life is giving up or failing in some way. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Letting go is one of the strongest choices you can make because it shows self-awareness, self-respect, and courage. It's about recognizing that your emotional well-being and peace of mind are non-negotiable, and that clinging to someone who cannot meet your standards only drains your energy and clouds your clarity. Choosing to step away isn't surrender, it's taking control of your life and reclaiming your power. The strength in letting go comes from self-respect. Walking away from someone who doesn't see your value is a clear message to yourself and the world. I know my worth, and I will not compromise it for anyone. It requires a level of self-awareness to recognize when a relationship or connection is no longer serving your growth. It takes courage to face the discomfort of leaving behind what feels familiar, even if it was toxic or unfulfilling. Most people stay in situations long past their expiration date because they confuse familiarity with safety, attachment with love, or hope with possibility. Choosing to let go demonstrates that you have the clarity to differentiate between what is good for you and what is holding you back. Another dimension of strength is emotional resilience. Letting go requires facing your feelings head on instead of burying them or pretending they don't exist. You allow yourself to feel the sadness, disappointment, or even anger that comes with the ending of a chapter. But instead of letting these emotions control you, you process them, learn from them, and move forward with your eyes open. That kind of emotional maturity is rare, and it's what separates someone who simply reacts to life from someone who takes conscious control of their path. Letting go is also an act of courage because it often goes against your instincts. Your mind may cling to memories, imagine what could have been, or hold on to hope for change. Social pressure, nostalgia, or fear of being alone can make it tempting to stay in situations that don't serve you. Walking away in spite of these temptations requires discipline and bravery. It means you value your peace over the fleeting comfort of familiarity. It means you're willing to endure the short-term discomfort of letting go in order to secure long-term clarity, growth, and happiness. This strength doesn't just protect you, it also sends a message to others. It communicates that you are not someone to be taken for granted, manipulated, or undervalued. By letting go, you reinforce your standards, boundaries, and self-respect. People learn, either directly or indirectly, that you honor your worth and will not settle for less than what you deserve. And that kind of clarity attracts the right people into your life, those who are capable of showing up consistently, valuing you genuinely, and contributing positively to your story. Ultimately, letting go is about reclaiming your life and your energy. It's about choosing yourself, your peace, and your growth over anyone else's mistakes, shortcomings, or failures. It's a conscious decision to step into your power rather than remain entangled in someone else's inability to value you. True strength lies in recognizing when a chapter has ended, closing it with dignity, and moving forward with confidence, knowing that by letting go, you are not losing anything that truly belonged to you, but gaining everything that is still waiting to be written. One of the most liberating realizations you can have when you decide to let go is that peace is far more valuable than proving anything to anyone. Too often, after someone has hurt us, disappointed us, or failed to value us, we get caught up in the need to show them, or even ourselves, that we were right all along. We want them to see our worth, acknowledge their mistakes, or regret the way they treated us. And while that desire is completely human, it can trap you in a cycle of frustration, anger, and emotional turbulence. Choosing peace over proof is about recognizing that your serenity and clarity are infinitely more important than any validation or recognition from someone who has already shown they cannot appreciate you. When you prioritize peace, you step out of the emotional tug-of-war that often follows a breakup or disappointment. The mind wants closure, answers, or a sense of justice. You might find yourself replaying conversations, analyzing every action, or imagining ways you could have been enough for them. But the pursuit of proof doesn't heal. It prolongs suffering. True liberation comes when you acknowledge that you don't need their validation to know your value. You already know who you are, what you deserve, and that your worth is non-negotiable. Peace is found not in making someone else see it, but in embracing it for yourself. Another reason peace outweighs proof is that focusing on proving anything keeps you tied to the past. Every thought spent on convincing someone of their errors, replaying scenarios, or anticipating their regret is a moment of energy that could have been invested in your growth, your dreams, or your happiness. By choosing peace, you free yourself from that mental prison. You step out of the cycle of tension, doubt, and longing, and instead cultivate an inner calm that cannot be shaken by someone else's actions or indifference. Choosing peace also demonstrates emotional maturity and strength. It is far easier to stay embroiled in conflict, to seek revenge, or to demand recognition, but that only extends the suffering. Letting go, accepting what is, and protecting your emotional state shows that you are operating from a place of power, not reaction. It's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you don't need to control someone else's perspective to feel whole. You set the standard for how you allow others to affect your life, and in doing so, you reclaim your power. Prioritizing peace doesn't mean you ignore lessons or pretend you weren't hurt. It means that you process your emotions, learn from the experience, and then release the need for external confirmation. You acknowledge the reality of the situation. The other person's failure to value you is their issue, not yours. Seeking proof or validation is often rooted in fear of being wrong or not being enough, but true peace comes from embracing the truth of who you are and moving forward without needing to justify it to anyone else. Ultimately, valuing peace over proof allows you to live your life fully, free from the emotional weight of resentment, frustration, or lingering attachment. It enables you to focus on your personal growth, your relationships with people who genuinely appreciate you, and the opportunities that align with your worth. By making peace your priority, you demonstrate that your happiness is self-determined, not dependent on someone else's recognition. This mindset not only restores your emotional freedom, but also attracts the right energy and people into your life, those who respect you, value you, and contribute positively to your story. Choosing peace is winning, and in doing so, you reclaim your power, your clarity, and your life. One of the biggest traps we fall into when trying to let go is chasing what is already lost. When someone leaves, disappoints us, or fails to value us, our instincts often push us to hold on harder, to convince ourselves that if we try a little more, reach out a little more, or make more effort, we can bring them back. It feels natural because we're attached to the comfort, the memories, or even the idea of what could have been. But the truth is, chasing what's gone never brings peace. It only prolongs heartache and keeps you stuck in a story that no longer exists. The first step to reclaiming your power is recognizing that the person, the connection, or the chapter you're clinging to is not coming back in the way you want, and the sooner you accept that, sooner you can focus on yourself and your life. Chasing what's lost often starts with hope. The hope that someone will see their mistakes, regret their actions, or suddenly realize your worth. You replay the moments where things felt good and convince yourself that it's worth fighting for, but hope without reciprocity is a trap. It keeps you waiting for someone else to show up emotionally, while your own life, growth, and opportunities pass you by. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough about yourself to stop investing your energy into something that can't give you what you deserve. True strength comes from redirecting your focus inward rather than outward towards someone who has already left your narrative. Another reason chasing what's lost is harmful is that it clouds your clarity. When you're focused on someone who isn't available, your decisions become reactive instead of intentional. You may compromise your standards, ignore red flags, or make choices that keep you tied to the past. Each time you reach back for what is gone, you're reinforcing a cycle that diminishes your self-respect and delays your growth. By choosing to stop the chase, you regain control over your choices, your emotions, and your story. You shift from being a character in someone else's actions to being the author of your own life. Letting go of the lost also requires reframing your perspective. Instead of viewing the ending as failure, betrayal, or abandonment, see it as a necessary step to create space for what truly aligns with your life. Every lost connection, every closed chapter, brings lessons, self-awareness, and clarity about what you will no longer accept. It shows you what kind of love, respect, and partnership you are truly worthy of. Chasing what's lost ignores these lessons. Letting go embraces them and allows you to integrate them into your next chapter. The process of releasing what is gone also protects your peace and emotional energy. Every moment spent wishing for someone to return, wondering if they regret their choices, or imagining what could have been, drains your vitality. By stopping the chase, you reclaim your emotional space, protect your energy, and redirect your attention toward people and experiences that genuinely uplift you. You begin to live in the present, rather than being tethered to a past that cannot serve you anymore. Ultimately, stopping the chase is a declaration of self-respect and empowerment. It's saying, I will not waste my life, energy, or joy on someone who cannot meet me where I am. It allows you to step into a future full of possibility, relationships that honor your worth, and experiences that align with your goals. The moment you stop chasing what's lost, you open the door to what is waiting for you, the love, peace, and fulfillment that you have always deserved but couldn't access while clinging to the past. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means winning your freedom, your clarity, and your life back. One of the most misunderstood aspects of letting go is detachment. Many people confuse detachment with indifference, thinking that if you stop obsessing over someone or stop chasing their attention, it means you no longer care or that you have become cold. But detachment is not indifference. It is a conscious, empowering choice to protect your emotional well-being while maintaining clarity about what matters to you. Detachment is about separating your peace from someone else's behavior, allowing yourself to feel without losing control, and loving without losing your boundaries. It's about recognizing that your worth, your happiness, and your clarity are yours to manage, and no one else has the right to hold them hostage. Detachment begins with understanding the difference between caring and attachment. Caring means acknowledging your feelings, valuing the experiences you shared, and learning from the chapter that has ended. Attachment, on the other hand, is when you allow someone else's actions, decisions, or absence to dictate your emotional state. It keeps you tethered to what no longer serves you, and it convinces you that your happiness depends on someone else. By practicing detachment, you honor your emotions without allowing them to control your actions or compromise your peace. You can feel deeply and authentically while still moving forward with clarity and purpose. Another critical aspect of detachment is maintaining perspective. When a connection ends or someone fails to value you, it's natural to feel a mix of emotions, sadness, frustration, or even longing. Detachment does not mean denying these feelings. It means acknowledging them without letting them dominate your life. You recognize that the situation belongs to the past, and that holding onto it does not benefit your present or future. Instead of being consumed by what-ifs or regret, you create space to process your emotions and make intentional choices that serve your growth and well-being. Detachment also protects your boundaries. When you stop allowing someone else's behavior to dictate your emotional state, you reinforce your self-respect. You are no longer at the mercy of their inconsistency, their approval, or their presence. This does not make you cold or uncaring, it makes you strong. Detachment empowers you to engage with others consciously, choosing relationships and interactions that honor your standards rather than leaving you vulnerable to disappointment or manipulation. It is a radical act of self-respect and clarity that communicates to yourself and the world that you will not sacrifice your peace for someone else's shortcomings. Furthermore, detachment allows for healthier love and connection in the future. By learning to care without clinging, you build the capacity to enter relationships without losing yourself. You understand that love is about choice, not need, and that real connection thrives when both parties are emotionally available and mutually committed. Detachment teaches you to love fully, yet freely, ensuring that the next chapter of your life is built on respect, reciprocity, and alignment rather than desperation or fear. Ultimately, detachment is about reclaiming your power and prioritizing your peace. It allows you to release control over someone else's choices while fully embracing control over your own life. You can care without compromising, feel without being consumed, and love without losing yourself. Detachment is not indifference. It is an intentional, conscious, and courageous act of self-respect. By practicing it, you create emotional freedom, protect your boundaries, and open space for the life, love, and experiences that truly align with your worth. It is one of the most profound ways to let go and reclaim your life without losing the essence of who you are. One of the most transformative aspects of letting go is the ability to reclaim your power. When we remain attached to someone who doesn't value us, who disappoints us, or who is emotionally unavailable, we often give away our authority over our own lives. Our thoughts, emotions, and decisions become influenced by someone who may not even be present in a meaningful way. Reclaiming your power is about taking back control of your emotions, your choices, and your boundaries. It's about shifting from being reactive to being proactive, from being influenced by someone else's actions to being guided by your own values, clarity, and self-respect. Reclaiming your power begins with self-awareness. It requires acknowledging the ways in which you've allowed someone else's behavior to affect your emotional state. Perhaps you've stayed too long in hope, replayed past interactions endlessly, or lowered your standards to maintain a connection. Recognizing these patterns is not a sign of weakness, it's the first step toward transformation. When you see clearly where your power has been diluted, you can consciously make choices to restore it. This means no longer seeking validation from someone who cannot give it, no longer letting past hurts dictate your present, and no longer compromising your peace for the sake of attachment. Another key element of reclaiming your power is establishing and enforcing boundaries. Boundaries are a declaration that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are precious and non-negotiable. Letting go is not just a mental act, it's a physical and behavioral commitment to yourself. It might mean limiting contact, refusing to engage in arguments, or eliminating access to your life and energy for those who have shown they cannot honor it. Boundaries reinforce your power because they create clarity for both you and others about what is acceptable. By setting these limits, you demonstrate that your peace is not up for negotiation and that you will not allow anyone to diminish your worth. Reclaiming your power also involves redirecting your energy toward your own growth and life goals. When you stop pouring your focus into someone who isn't aligned with your story, you free up time and emotional space to invest in yourself. This could mean pursuing your passions, strengthening yourself, confidence, nurturing meaningful relationships, or exploring opportunities that expand your sense of purpose and fulfillment. Power grows when you are intentional with your energy, when you prioritize what serves your life, and when you refuse to let someone else's absence or mistakes dictate your happiness. A vital aspect of reclaiming power is understanding that it's an internal process. True empowerment doesn't come from making someone regret losing you, proving a point, or receiving external validation. It comes from the awareness that your value is inherent, that your peace is sacred, and that your choices shape the life you want. Letting go is not about them, it's about you stepping into the version of yourself that refuses to be controlled by circumstances, people, or past disappointments. Ultimately, reclaiming your power is about freedom. It's the freedom to live without carrying emotional burdens that aren't yours, to make decisions that align with your values, and to create a life that reflects your worth. When you reclaim your power, you no longer feel dependent on someone else's recognition or presence to feel whole. You step into a place of strength, clarity, and resilience where your peace is protected, your self-respect is intact, and your story is entirely yours. Letting go isn't a loss, it's a victory, and the ultimate reward is the power, confidence, and freedom you regain to write your next chapter with intention and joy. One of the most powerful outcomes of letting go is that it creates space for growth, space for clarity, and space for better opportunities to enter your life. Often we cling to the past, holding on to people, situations, or expectations that no longer serve us because it feels familiar, comfortable, or safe. But holding on keeps us crowded, stuck, and emotionally limited. When you consciously choose to release what is over, you make room for experiences, relationships, and opportunities that are truly aligned with your value, your desires, and the life you are meant to live. This is where real transformation happens. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about creating the conditions for better things to flow naturally into your life. Opening space begins with acceptance. You have to acknowledge that the chapter has ended and that clinging to it only blocks your forward momentum. Acceptance is not about denying your feelings or pretending the past didn't matter. It's about recognizing that the role someone played in your life was finite. They contributed to your growth, taught you lessons, or highlighted what you deserve, but their chapter is done. Once you accept this, you stop holding on to what cannot be controlled and start making room for what can be created, nurtured, and experienced in alignment with your values. Creating space also requires detachment from the outcome. Many of us linger because we want closure, apologies, or acknowledgement, but waiting for those things keeps us emotionally tethered. Letting go gracefully without needing proof, recognition, or reciprocation frees you from this cycle. You no longer invest your energy into something that cannot serve you, and instead you redirect it toward your own growth, healing, and opportunities. The space you open is not empty. It's fertile ground for self-development, meaningful connections, and experiences that bring joy, respect, and fulfillment. Opening space for better things also means shifting your focus from what was lost to what is possible. When you stop trying to fix, chase, or hold onto someone who cannot meet you where you are, you gain clarity about the relationships, projects, and experiences that truly belong in your life. You begin to see opportunities that were previously invisible because your attention was trapped in the past. Space is where creativity, love, and abundance enter. By letting go, you invite in people who match your energy, opportunities that reflect your purpose, and experiences that expand your life rather than drain it. Another key aspect of creating space is prioritizing your own needs and peace. Letting go is a form of self-respect. It's saying, I will not compromise my emotional well-being for someone else's inability to show up. When you honor yourself in this way, you cultivate confidence, resilience, and clarity. You no longer depend on others to define your happiness or your worth. Instead, you become fully available to recognize and receive the good that is aligned with your story. Ultimately, opening space for better things is an act of empowerment. It's about consciously removing what no longer serves you to allow what does serve you to enter. It transforms endings into beginnings, loss into opportunity, and disappointment into clarity. By releasing the past and creating room for the future, you step into a life that is intentional, aligned, and filled with people, experiences, and opportunities that honor your worth. Letting go is not weakness, it is strength, and the best chapters of your life often begin the moment you make space for them to unfold. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. It's about reclaiming your peace, protecting your heart, and creating space for the life and love you truly deserve. When you release what no longer serves you step into your power, your clarity, and the best chapters of your story yet to come.